Hey, I'm the new guy.
Yeah, damn!
What's going on? Ooh, should I say that? Am I allowed to say that? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Anyway, so on my Twitter, I think this morning actually, I posted just a little post saying that I was gonna do a Q&A, that way you guys could get to know this face and you know what's going on with all the things KENSHI. Because I know this character just kind of popped up on the channel recently, even though I did an announcement about this character, I think a year or two ago. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was about a year ago. And now I want to do a little Q&A, that way you guys can kind of clear up the mystery as to, you know, what's going on with this lovely face you see right here. Because he's gonna be here for a while. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get in this. First question from the Pirate Cove. Who are you and what are you doing in my swamp? You're welcome to stay, but only if you tell me what your favorite dessert. One dessert. It's a cross between key lime pie and cheesecake, but I think between the two of those, I think cheesecake would have the upper hand because cheesecake has so many different varieties to it, and it's just something that I could just sit there and just eat non-stop for days on end and never get tired of it. So cheesecake wins. Dear Excluse says, what do you prefer to kill in a Minecraft battle? 4 creepers, but the catch is you can't use your shield or diamond sword with a boss health meter that all of them are affected if hit. Or 1 really big creeper with a boss health meter, but it goes down, but your armor sucks. Plus, you only have a time limit with the giant creeper before it explodes. You're trying to test my logic on this. So 4 creepers with boss health, no shield, no diamond sword. I assume by shield you mean armor.
No, Minecraft has shields now.
Oh, I forget about that. Because I kind of pop in and out of Minecraft every now and then whenever there's an update. And one thing about me, I am not a shield user in any game that I play. Not Minecraft, not Skyrim, not Black Desert, no shields. The only game I came close to using a shield in is Overwatch, and that got boring very quickly, so I stopped doing that. So, with that being said, I think I could take on 4 creepers with just an iron sword with a boss health, because there's some tech that you can use when fighting creepers. If you stay out of a certain blast radius, they'll never actually explode. And if they do, they'll be far enough away from you to where you won't take any damage. Huh?
Water.
Yes, water also works. I don't know if you still take damage in the water.
You take damage.
It just doesn't destroy anything.
Not as much.
Right. So yeah, I'd rather take 4 creepers than 1 giant creeper, because with a giant creeper, I don't know how much health resistance it has and what's the time limit on his explosion. Is it the same 2 seconds that a regular creeper has, or is it like a minute? That's a lot of questions that I think are a little unsafe, so I'll just go with the 4 tiny creepers. They're a little bit more manageable. What inspired the name and design? Also, does this Sona predate Zabu? Well, no, but the concept of this Sona does. Because whenever I first got into the furry fandom, kimono style suits were the first kind of suit that just kind of stuck to me. Like, Sergals are a close second, but this style that you see here was like the initial thing that got me hooked on fursuit. Specifically Rady Wolf's work. That was like the first maker that I saw, and I was just like, that, I need that right there, right there. I keep hitting my ears because I'm not used to these being out here. And the main thing that stopped me was that kimono suits are expensive, and Rady didn't do any like partials. So if I were to commission Rady, I would have had to do a full suit, which would have been upwards of $2+ grand, and I didn't have that at the time.
Now she doesn't even ship to the US.
Right? Right? It's like now that option isn't even on the plate. So yeah, the concept does predate Zabu, but because Sergal suits were a lot more accessible and a lot cheaper, that's what I ended up going with. And it's good that, you know, I did build my channel on ZabuTheSergal, and he still exists. It's just that his suit is not here physically. So this one is the one that got done first, so this one is the one that you're seeing. Now, I will say that if KENSHI was made before Zabu, he'd probably look different and have a different name, because this is stuff that I kind of came up with. I think I came up with this design, I think 2 years ago, and I took inspiration from Vextasy because she had shown me her true Sona, and she kind of modeled it off of herself. She like used it as a glorified version of herself, and I thought that concept was so fascinating, so I decided to take that concept and develop KENSHI with that. Whole brain goes left field. Back to your question. Well, I just answered the question about the design. As far as like the color scheme, I've always been a fan of green. Of course, you know, red and black will always be my favorite color, as you can see literally with everything that I own. But neon green on like a dark background, like the brown or whatever, that's like my bread and butter. Also, I wanted for this suit to be a partial suit. That's why I went with brown first instead of any other color. I didn't try to like exactly match it to my skin tone, but I just wanted to be brown like my skin tone. That way it kind of goes more with, you know, this.
He's meant to be cool.
Yeah. And you know, that's something that a lot of kimono style suits do. I mean, some do full suit, and then others they just do the partial with regular clothes and they make it work. And that's the style I wanted for him to have. So I went all the way around that question. All right, that one was from Very Unusual, by the way. Next question from, your name is cut off, Troubled Zeal. Oh, this is so exciting. I never catch these in time, but this time I have. All right, KENSHI, how old are you? What are your favorite pastimes? Well, I can say that I am definitely an adult. As far as my pastimes, there's some things that might go on that we probably can't mention right here in this space. Moving on. Fave dessert from Vixen Dwunk. I kind of answered this one already. Pirate Cove kind of beat you to the punch, but I will reiterate, cheesecake. And last but not least, from Kuro Soft Paws, what flavor of ramen is KENSHI-san's favorite? KENSHI-san, I like that. When I was younger, because I haven't had ramen in a very long time, because when it's a staple in your diet, like whenever you're growing up, and you have options that you can, you know, go into stores and buy whatever you want, you kind of abstain from that a little bit. Even though I didn't hate ramen, it's just that being dependent on it made me kind of develop this love-hate relationship with it. But the flavor that I would always go to would be standard old chicken made on the stove, not the microwave. You can fight me on that. All right, well that does it for this installment of the Q&A. And as you guys know, I do make, you know, a lot of these announcements and stuff for these kinds of videos on my Twitter. So if you haven't followed already, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I know the username kind of gets kind of jumbled and kerfuffled because I was kind of changing things around, and you know, I'm still kind of morphing things and things of that nature. So I will have a link down there to my Twitter account, so definitely follow me on there. That way whenever I make announcements and stuff like this, you'll be one of the first ones to know about it. You can get in on it and do the thing. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and close this. So, small disclaimer though, I am just kind of keeping this seat warm until Zabu gets here. When will that be? No one knows. But until then, you're just gonna have to deal with the good old Elfie boy. But as always, my name is KENSHI, and I'm out of here. La 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 la.